This is episode 8 of Over the Line Sports. I'm surprised I've made it to 8 episodes. I appreciate everybody that's taken their time to listen. Please, if you are a listener and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe, hit the little bell button there so you can get notified when I upload a new video. That way you can listen to yours and everyone else's favorite podcasts, Over the Line Sports. Studio today by Steve, once again. Thanks for being on.
Well, you know, I took a break from my Hallmark movie marathon.
Which one are you watching?
Oh, dude, I'm watching all of them. I watch every Hallmark movie made since November. I've been binging Hallmark movies.
You got Disney Plus yet?
I do not. I don't care about Disney, man. I care about if, you know, Julie is going to fall in love and have a snowball fight with Hank.
Hopefully not.
Every episode is a snowball fight, skating, falling, and a happily ever after type thing.
I don't know who writes those shows, but they need some new creative.
They've got all kinds of stuff. So anyway, happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Well,
yes, indeed.
I am here too because I smelt Scrapple from about 20 miles away. So I'm in here eating Habersat Scrapple, which for any of you who don't know what that is, it is the greatest breakfast food you can ever have.
It's one of them, yeah. It's one of them. Unless you read the ingredient package.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's not a good thing to do.
I don't recommend it.
No, Scrappling for those on the West Coast, you don't really get it out here unless, you know, someone, you know, migrated from the East Coast. It's an East Coast breakfast meat, basically. It's instead of having bacon or sausage, you put the two together.
Yeah.
And you have Scrapple.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's an East Coast thing. A Philly thing is where I got it from.
You blend them, so.
Yeah, kind of. Yep.
So we have a fun show for you guys today. We are going to talk about who we think is the greatest player of 4 respective sports. We got Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, and NFL. I know the NFL is kind of doing their own take, but I don't really care about them. So mine's a little bit more enjoyable, I think. So I said, you know what? We'll just do all 4, and that's what we're doing. So I want to start it off with MLB. Probably, I think it's the longest, going sport probably in America, just in terms of how long it's been played at a professional level.
Well, that's why they call it America's game.
Yeah,
Yep.
The history of it is fantastic, and I had a bit of trouble kind of finding who I thought was maybe the greatest MLB player of all time, and I did some deep diving and some history and some research, and my answer after doing all that fun and extensive research is I'm going Hank Aaron. 755 home runs, which is second of all time behind Barry Bonds. He has the most RBIs of all time at 2297. He's a 25-time All-Star.
Yeah. I actually got to watch. You never really got to watch him play, but I never saw him play live. But I saw him. I saw him on television. Yeah, he was an amazing baseball player.
Yeah, and I was doing some research, and back then when he was playing, there was a lot of prejudiceness and there was racism involved in the sport, and the amount of hate mail he received when he was close to breaking Babe Ruth's home run record was outstanding. The media who was covering him was getting backlash from people, and to be able to play back then as an African American in a primarily white sport and to be that good is just, I thought it was amazing. The fact that he battled the racism and still became one of the best MLB players of all time, and clearly the best in my opinion based on the list.
Well, you also have to remember when Hank Aaron played and Babe Ruth played, completely different eras.
Yeah.
Completely. Babe Ruth, by most historical standards, was the greatest player of all time, because back then the fence was a lot further away. They didn't have the technology in bats and baseballs.
Yeah,
they do today. So number wise, yes, Hank Aaron. Reality wise, Hank Aaron was not the same player Babe Ruth was.
Okay.
Hank Aaron would not have done what Hank Aaron did back when Babe Ruth was doing it.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I think you have to break up when you talk about some of maybe the, I don't know, greatest players. It's in what era are we talking about? I mean, I can go back to, Jackie Robinson. And I think Jackie Robinson, he is credited as being the first black baseball player in the major leagues, even though there were some prior, but organized ball, I think Jackie Robinson. And then you got Mickey Mantle. So these guys were way basically before kind of the whole, Hank Aaron type thing. But I'm going to go Jackie Robinson.
Okay.
Just because of there's a guy that truly was a segregation man. I mean, what Hank Aaron suffered because of being, the prejudice aspect of it, Jackie Robinson suffered twice as much than Hank Aaron did. And he was massive. I mean, he had, my God, 6 All-Star appearances, 6 World Series, MVP, batting titles, 2-time base stealer, Rookie of the Year awards. I mean, this guy was an all-around player.
Yeah.
So I'm going Jackie. Jackie Robinson is my favorite. Even though Babe Ruth, he is, probably the pick of a lot of people.
Right.
But, man, it was totally different. And like I said, the fence was a lot further away when Babe Ruth was playing. So, and they changed some of the rules also in the time, as far as the dead ball era was in full swing back, in 1914 or whatever. But I think Babe Ruth originally and Jackie Robinson. I'm going to say current, but then you got a guy named Lou Gehrig.
Right.
I mean, you can't forget about Lou Gehrig, and unfortunately with ALS,
right,
which is what Lou Gehrig disease. Unfortunately, that's what he's most remembered for. But he set massive records in baseball. He played over 2,100 consecutive games as a first baseman. I mean, the guy was amazing.
Do you think people say Babe Ruth is the best because he's probably the most known baseball player? Because I read something where an MLB analyst was saying he actually thought Lou Gehrig, in terms of skill, was better than Babe Ruth.
I think Babe Ruth was more of a personality.
Yeah, your name's Babe.
Well, the Big Bambino.
Right.
I think Babe Ruth was more of a personality, and he might have been the first to kind of start doing what he did with all the home runs, and then calling out the home run, the point.
Yeah.
Which he was more of a personality. Lou Gehrig was more of, I think, a player. Babe Ruth was. How can I say this? He wasn't the most in shape.
No.
Player.
He's a big man.
He's a big guy. I think he was more personality than talent. I think Lou Gehrig was more talent than personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people too nowadays, younger guys, a lot of them point to Derek Jeter just because of his consistency. Not a power guy by any stretch, but great defender. Great.
Yeah. And more current.
Yeah.
More current. I mean, none of us obviously were alive back when Gehrig and Babe Ruth and all those guys were playing Shoeless Joe Jackson. The history of the game is amazing, but I think you tend to pick those that you have seen.
Oh, sure.
So, a lot of people don't have the choice. I mean, I never saw Mickey Mantle play.
Right.
Even though I was alive when Mickey Mantle played. Of course, I'm not a baseball fan, so I wouldn't have gone to see him anyway.
Yeah. What do you think of Barry Bonds? And the reason I ask is because he is the home run holder, but he also has the steroid allegations against him.
I don't know. Well, I think also you can go to Pete Rose.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's got the gambling.
Right.
Well, he was found guilty of, he was actually found guilty of gambling. And so was Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
With steroids. But I don't think that should take away. The gambling didn't make Pete Rose a better baseball player.
No, made him some money.
Yeah. but didn't make him a better baseball player.
Right.
Barry Bonds, if you take any kind of performance enhancing anything, I think diminishes what you've accomplished, because they're going to fall back and go, well, would you have done it if you hadn't of, done XYZ? Right. Would Pete Rose be in the Baseball Hall of Fame if he hadn't have, been convicted of that? Probably.
Yeah. Probably.
But it didn't make him a better baseball player. So anytime I think when you are you're using any type of enhancing chemical, it affects what people think of your accomplishments.
Well, I think that's another reason McGwire isn't in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Mark McGwire, yeah.
Sammy Sosa, I think, that was a big steroid era, though, in terms of, guys juicing. Again,
different time.
Yeah.
Completely different time.
So, yep. I got Hank. You got Jackie.
I got Jackie, man. I got Jackie Robinson.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's transition over to another sport, NBA.
Oh yes, the NBA. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to ask you first. Who do you got?
Well, here's the problem, and we're going to go right back to generational stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players currently that are amazing basketball players. You got Steph Curry. I think Kobe Bryant's on the way out. I think he's had his heyday, but in the day, he was the guy.
He's been retired for a couple years now.
Yeah. You got guys like Magic Johnson, who are Larry Bird. You got so many people to pick from the NBA. I am actually going with Dr. J, Julius Erving. Julius Erving, man. That guy, he scored over 30,000 points, over 10,000 rebounds, over 5,000 assists, and he was just an amazing athlete. And he's the one, I think, that sort of gave, dunking the ball flair.
Yeah.
Launching literally from the free throw line. It was insane.
That's amazing.
And the fingertip roll.
Yeah.
And the guy, and most NBA players, the guy had just huge hands.
Oh, yeah.
And, could do things with the ball. I'm going with Dr. J.
You like Dr. J?
I like Dr. J. But you've also got guys like Will Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Jabbar was Lou Alcindor when he was at UCLA.
Yeah.
And he introduced the sky hook, which most centers now utilize in one way or another. And so, man, he's the NBA all-time leading scorer. And so, how do you pick one?
I think it's tough with basketball.
Yeah, and then you got Will Chamberlain.
Baseball.
The guy had a 100-point game.
Is Will Chamberlain fair, though? Because the guys he played against, he was like 7'1",
and that's a different era.
But those guys, at best, most guys were like 6'8", 6'9", guarding him.
Yeah, and again, a different era. I think he was like 7 feet when he was like 15 or something. I don't know, some insane, stupid thing. But I think his off the court antics really sort of screwed him over.
Wasn't he defined as he was a player, right? I heard something about that where he just like flocked to women.
Oh yeah. I can't remember the number, but I think it was like, I don't know, well over 1,000 women he bragged about, sleeping with. And who gives a shit, Will?
Right. He just had a 100-point game.
Way to go, buddy. Congratulations. But,
right.
You can't take away the guy's accomplishments. He did have the 100-point game, and he had a 55 rebound game. And again, the guy was massive. He was averaging over 50 points a game for an entire season. He averaged 48.5 minutes a game for the entire season. And the regulation game is 48 minutes.
Right.
How the hell do you do that? He took 30 seconds to go, have some, coffee, in the locker room. So I'm not going to say Wilt was, but he's definitely up there. So I'm going to go two. I got to go with Jabbar and Dr. J.
You like those two?
And Jerry West was awesome too.
I think a lot of people will assume I'm going to say Michael Jordan just because.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's on there for sure. He's on the list. He's an amazing basketball player.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, Michael Jordan. Yeah.
I'm actually. I know this is going to be controversial. I'm going LeBron.
Oh shit.
I just think LeBron could make it in any era. He's 6'8", about 250. The guy is just a freak.
He is.
He's 35, and he's still... he's just something else. He averages 27 a game for his career, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. Been in the All-Star game 15 times. 3-time NBA champion. The only thing people will look at, I think, when LeBron's said and done, is his finals record at right now is 3-5.
Does that really define you, though, what your finals are?
I don't think so.
I think it's the journey to the finals that really make a player.
Well, look at the teams he took.
Yeah.
I mean, when he left Cleveland, the year after they won and he went to L.A., or I'm sorry, when he left Cleveland and went to Miami, Cleveland won. I don't think they won more than 30 games. And the year before that, they were in the conference finals against Boston.
Yeah.
So I think he's a game-changing player. Now, I will also go out and say I think Carmelo Anthony was a better scorer than LeBron in terms of natural scorer. But I think LeBron is a better player. Overall.
Yeah.
I think Carmelo is a fantastic scorer. I'm not saying Carmelo is the best by any stretch in terms of where I rank him in like top 10. He wouldn't make my top 10. But I think LeBron... I mean, take this, for example. LeBron and Carmelo came out of the same draft class. Carmelo was looking for a job all last year and a bit of this year, and LeBron has been dominating the league since 2004. And I think you put him in any era, just his sheer strength alone, he would make it. Where I think
I'd like to see. You know who I would like to see him play against?
Who?
Charles Barkley.
That would have been a fun matchup. They're about the same size.
Well, Barkley's only 6'4".
Oh, okay. I thought he was taller.
He's just wider. Yeah, well, now. But LeBron versus a Barkley, that would have been. But then you put him up against, maybe even somebody who isn't as physical, like a Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Larry, he's pretty slow, though. But Barkley and, LeBron would have been a great
that would have been
matchup.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
A lot of physicality.
Yeah. Give me the old Sixers with Dr. J and Charles Barkley versus, say, LeBron's Cavaliers.
Oh, I think the Sixers would win.
I'd love to see that. That would have been a great matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think, kind of like baseball, the NBA now is so different. Back when, for example, Michael Jordan was leading Chicago to the finals, God, guys used to drive to the rim and get raked down by their neck. The game today is way, way softer.
Like anything.
I think Dennis Rodman in today's NBA would be kicked out of the league in about half a year.
But you give him oh, wow. I wouldn't even give him that.
But the guy was just for that era, he was fantastic.
Oh, he's a beast, yeah. I mean, that's back when, everyone hated the Pistons. Mm-hmm. Hated them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't stand Rodman, actually.
Even in Chicago.
In Chicago. Maybe it's because I brought too much of his personality into his talent.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't get over
his hair.
Yeah, that was something else. I don't know, man. Again, a very solid, great player, but his off the court antics destroyed that guy. And then whatever, he did a photo spread in a wedding dress. But you got back in the old man. I'm telling you, back in the day, Detroit Pistons were
the bad boys.
They were, man. You didn't want to go there. You didn't want to go to the Motor City and play the Pistons. You had Bill Laimbeer.
Yep.
Just a dick of a basketball player.
Yeah.
Man, the game was different. The game was fun to watch back then because it was physical, and now it's like it's almost like the quarterback rule in the NFL now. Or so many of the rules in there, not just the quarterback rule, but so many of the rules that changed along the way. But it also defined the game. Mm-hmm. The game was defined by the rules.
Yeah,
or the
100%.
lack thereof.
Yeah.
It was just fun back then.
I don't think a guy like Steph Curry would make it back then.
Oh God, no.
He's just
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, he would if he stayed on the outside.
right.
Yeah,
Good luck driving it in on Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah, no way.
The guy would throw you to the floor,
No.
and the ref would say, "Oh, keep going."
Get up,
Yeah, exactly.
get up, you big pussy.
And that,
But that's Curry's game, though. You know,
Right.
He would have been a freak of nature if he'd been draining the threes like he
yeah.
does in today's
They
NBA.
didn't even used to have a.
They didn't have a 3-point. Yeah, no, I know. And
Right.
that again, the game changed, and the rules defined the game when they brought the 3-point line in.
So yeah, I think personally going back, I think that's why LeBron, in my opinion, is the best. Just because I think you could put him in any era, and he can.
Well, he does everything.
Adapt.
He does it all.
Right.
Yeah, he could go against a Laimbeer.
Yeah.
You know, he could go against I think LeBron and a Rodman matchup.
Oh my God.
I would love to see LeBron just rail Rodman.
That would have been
And then with the dumb, put him in a boxing ring and just let LeBron kick the shit
rough and
out of
rowdy.
him. Yeah, man, that would have been awesome.
But I think like a Wilt Chamberlain, for example, put him in, today's.
No.
I don't think he would be as dominant just because guys are bigger.
There's guys that are taller and bigger.
Right.
Chamberlain, though tall, was not big. Either was Lou Alcindor or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They weren't big. They were just tall.
Yeah.
And nowadays they're big and tall. Totally
Right.
different.
Totally
different. Yeah.
So yep, I'm going LeBron. So.
Okay.
All right, folks, we're going to step away for just a quick moment. We have a little commercial for you, so be right back.
If you have a landscaping issue in need of a checkup, don't wait any longer. Call the doctor.
Dr. Green Thumb. Dr. Green Thumb.
Dr. Green Thumb Landscaping, 503-330-5751. Dr. Green Thumb Landscaping provides services such as yard cleanups, bark dust installation, tree trimming and shrub and bush trimming, flower and tree planting, power washing, mulch, decorative design, mowing services, and much, much more. Dr. Green Thumb Landscaping offers weekly and monthly maintenance plans along with commercial maintenance plans. Don't leave your lawn care and landscaping needs in the hands of anyone else. Dr. Green Thumb Landscaping offers a satisfaction guarantee and will work with you until you have the lawn, garden, and landscaping that you've always dreamt of. Call the doctor, 503-330-5751, or visit them online, drgreenthumblandscaping.com. That's Dr. D-O-C-T-O-R GreenThumbLandscaping.com. Call Billy for a free estimate. 503-330-5751.
Welcome back, folks. This is Over the Line Sports, episode 8. Hope you guys are enjoying your day on this lovely Saturday. Hope you're enjoying the show. Got a couple more topics here for you, so without further ado, let's get right back into them.
Further ado.
So that's a good intro right there.
Yeah, right, telling you, man.
Perfect.
Yeah, why not?
So we've had some fun discussing MLB and NBA. Going to transition here to a ice sport, NHL,
What, not curling?
National Hockey, not curling.
Figure skating?
No.
You said ice sport.
Yeah, it's hockey, ice sport.
I know, but there's lots of ice sports out there.
Well, the most popular.
Curling in Canada.
Is it curling?
I don't know.
I would bet you money on that one.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I'll bet you a pound of scrapple.
I like curling.
Curling's pretty cool.
Curling is the dumbest sport known to man, but it's the most entertaining.
Run down the thing.
I'm going to
with the little
slide a
brooms.
rock and see if I can hit something or put it in the bullseye. Curling.
It's like darts.
It's nothing like darts.
Well, it's like darts with ice. You're putting it in the bullseye.
Okay. Yeah. Except darts can, probably kill you. You throw a dart at somebody.
Well, I bet that curling rock
Most people can't pick it up. Most people cannot pick that up. It is incredibly heavy. Incredibly heavy.
I had no idea it was that heavy.
Oh, yes. It's incredibly
You know
heavy.
what they should do? They should bring back the bouncer games. And instead of tossing little people, they can toss curling rocks.
Oh, God, no. No, they actually had little people bowling.
No, they didn't.
Where they'd slide little people down a bowling alley and knock over pins. They did. Look it up. Yes.
It's like a slip and slide.
Little people bowling. You know, it'd be another kind of a cool game would be the Elf Liberation Federation, where you got like elves and dwarves fighting each other, like the MMA.
What?
Yeah. So you got like Snow White's dwarves fighting like Santa's elves.
Oh my God.
That'd be awesome. Then you got like the little cookie makers, the Keebler Blue people, and the Smurfs just going at it. It's a rumble!
I think the Smurfs would win.
And we'll call it Elf. Elf Liberation Federation.
Oh my God. It's like a new WWE.
But is a Keebler elf cookie maker really truly an elf? And what is and then we're getting into the bad part with Snow White's, they're dwarves.
Yeah.
So they're not elves. And then you've got, what happened? Like, all the leprechauns. Do they count? Because they're tiny too.
I think they'd count. They'd probably win because
they're not an elf.
They got magic.
I know, but man, Keeblers bake cookies in a tree.
Yeah, but elves have magic.
Then you got
gold.
Papa Smurf. The old blue guy.
I never liked the Smurfs.
I didn't either. I don't know how we got off in the small people thing. But anyway, let's go the
NHL.
Ice Sport.
Ice Sport NHL.
The one Ice Sport.
So this is
Elf Liberation Games. Sorry.
This is one where anybody that knows anything about hockey is probably going to say Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, probably.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think if he would have played probably as long as Gretzky or stayed healthy, I think Mario Lemieux would have, and I think he's the best hockey player of all time. I think he would have surpassed Gretzky. He averaged 2 points a game. He had 1,723 points in 915 games.
Yeah. Yeah. But, also the thing is, Lemieux was much bigger than Gretzky.
Huge.
Gretzky was a small framed guy, and Lemieux didn't have a problem being physical.
Right.
Where Gretzky, he couldn't. Not that he wouldn't try.
Right.
But, when he was in, Gretzky was in Edmonton, he was surrounded by people that would take care of him. So I think Gretzky, because of the, you have to go too, though. I mean, Gretzky for his offensive prowess, and I think Lemieux for more of a offensive, physical prowess. He's got no problem going in the corner and banging bodies.
He was like a big power
But that wasn't his forte.
No.
That was not Lemieux's forte.
No.
It was, just give the puck to Yager.
Right.
Let Yager take care of it.
Yager was a fantastic player,
He was, too.
They definitely benefited from one another.
Yeah.
I just think Lemieux's injury history, well, he got really sick, too,
He got
right?
sick,
He almost died.
Hodgkins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if that guy would have been given the health bug, I think he would have been better than Gretzky. But, and when he was in his prime and Gretzky was in his prime, Lemieux, I think, came 2 points away from having a 200-point year. I think he ended up at 198. Whereas Gretzky, that guy eclipsed 200 points, I think, a couple times.
And look at the sticks that they were using back then.
Yeah, they were twigs.
They were wood, and they had no curve in the blade.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, they might have a little bit, but they didn't have. Again, you have to look at the technical aspect of it. The technology of the game has created a lot of people now.
Oh yeah.
That couldn't do what they're doing today back in the, say early mid 80s.
Right.
It just wouldn't happen. They couldn't shoot the puck with the stick that they had back then.
No, I don't think so.
So technology creates a lot. Also, think about this: as the rules changed when they take the two-line pass out, completely benefited offensive-minded players.
100%.
Yeah, back in the day, man, they were cruising the neutral zone in front of the red line. Right. They couldn't even go over the red line. So that changed also.
Do you think there's a guy in today's NHL that could flourish in a Gretzky-Lemieux era? If you had to pluck someone out of today's...
McDavid.
Oh, I agree 100%.
I think McDavid would definitely survive in that era.
What about Crosby?
Yeah, I think he could. Not as good as McDavid, though.
Because there's a lot of Crosby-Ovechkin debate still going on. And who
Ovechkin, Ovi probably could have survived back then and probably would have dominated physically. But then, I mean, back then, though, you got to remember fighting was a much larger part of the game and where it's not today. So I think Ovechkin would have survived better from the physical aspect than McDavid would. But I think as far as talent-wise, McDavid would survive back then.
Yeah. So who are you picking then as your – if you had to pluck – because there's so many.
There's way too many.
Well, then, like there's goalies that a lot of people – I mean, no one – I don't think anyone considers a goalie the greatest NHL player, but they have their own kind of tier.
Well, they have their own tier of talent. And, going back – I mean, you can go all the way back to like Chico Resch and Jacques Plante and, guys – playing the sport, the position without a helmet.
Yeah.
Those guys
they're crazy.
Nuts.
Probably 100 concussions between the litter of goalies there.
So, I mean, you have eras that you have to play with. You got guys that were playing without helmets. You got, the Espositos. All these guys and the early helmets where it was really like, Jason. It's Friday the 13th type stuff. I mean, these guys, you couldn't see, you couldn't hear anything, and then the advent of the new design helmet. But if you're talking about players, I don't know, man. I think Messier
was really good.
Would be up there. Madonna, being an American-born hockey. I think Madonna was probably the greatest American-born hockey player.
Yeah.
He was the number one overall pick in the 88 entry draft back in Minnesota and then finished off in Dallas. So, I mean, he played, for 21 years, something like that?
He had a long career.
Long career.
Never liked him because I don't like the Stars.
Yeah, no, if I had to pick players on the teams I like, I wouldn't pick half these guys. No. But I think Madonna, American-born. Goalie-wise, I'm just going to say, Patrick Waugh kind of created more the butterfly mentality.
Sure. Where
a lot of players were more stand-up and they would do a lot more, stand-up kick saves.
Yeah. Kick the puck out of there with their blade.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I was never a fan of Patrick Waugh, but I think as far as development of the position, I think Patrick Waugh would be there. And Dominic Hasek would be the most unorthodox.
The Dominator.
Goalie.
Yeah.
And again, he brought that flopping style where a lot of goalies now imitate that, just on pure athletic ability.
Legs,
but and then you got Fleury, Marc-Andre Fleury, who again kind of goes back to your Mario Lemieux connection because they drafted Fleury out of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League,
first overall,
and those ugly yellow pads that he came in with, but and lived with Lemieux as a young kid. And speaking of that, Fleury's father just passed away.
Yeah,
he took a leave of absence from Vegas, and but Fleury has flashes of both Patrick Waugh and Dominic Hasek because he's a French Canadian kid, and most of those guys were influenced by Patrick Waugh.
Yeah, sure.
That's where they all come from. So, yeah, I'm kind of floating around all those guys, but here's the one. If you want to go off the ice, I would say Art Ross was probably the biggest innovator of the game.
Yeah.
Because he actually, not only having an award named after him for the league point getter in the NHL, the Art Ross Trophy, but he actually redesigned the puck we know as today.
Yeah. What was it back then?
Well, it wasn't beveled, and it had a tendency to have sharp edges. Because it wasn't beveled, it was square.
Sure.
And so Art Ross brought in the beveled puck, and that was like back in the early 1900s, something like that.
Sure.
And then redesigned the net in 1928.
What was it like before?
Well, it wasn't as deep.
Okay.
And so the puck would go in and bounce out almost as quick as it went in.
So it hit you in the back
half the time, they whether they counted it or not, because it went in and came out. And he sort of gave it the double horseshoe look on the top and made the net deeper where it absorbed the puck and wouldn't shoot it back out.
Right.
So Art Ross actually kind of created the game that we know of today.
Sure.
So he's my innovator.
There's a lot of innovators out there.
Yeah, he's sort of like my big innovator guy.
Yeah.
Is your phone ringing?
No, it's yours.
That's not mine.
Who the hell's calling us?
There's someone's calling us on the studio line. Oh, hello.
This call will be recorded and monitored. I have a collect call from
What?
an inmate at a San Bernardino County detention facility.
No way.
If
What
you would
the
like to
hell?
accept this call, please press 4.
Okay. Hello.
Hello?
Is anyone there? Hello.
Hello?
Hey,
What's up, man?
is this Chantel?
Chantel?
Yeah, my ex-wife.
No.
Are you in prison?
Bet your ass I am.
What? How did you get this number?
I was trying to remember my ex-wife's phone number.
Your ex-wife's phone number, is that Chantel?
My little sugar boo? Yes, sir. That is my ex-wife.
What? Why were you trying to get a hold of her? What?
You think it's funny?
I do think it's funny. What? Well, first, let's. What's your name?
What's my name?
Do you know your name? You don't
Well,
know.
sir,
You don't know. You don't.
now y'all think it's real funny.
It is, man. I mean, we should be playing like the theme song from Deliverance right now. You don't remember your name. What are you in prison for? How about that? Do you remember that?
Well, sir. Yeah, I remember that night. Yep. It was worth it, though. Boy, God, we did something for him. Let's just say there was some rat poison and some rat traps, involved. Bad guy, though. Just clean out the garbage.
How long are you in jail for?
He broke into my trailer. Can't be doing that.
No, you can't be doing that. You can't be breaking into your trailer for
Hey,
rats.
especially in the Bubba's trailer.
Oh, Bubba's trailer.
Bubba. That's me, Bubba.
How long are you in jail for?
They didn't say yet.
They didn't say.
I'm hoping in the next week or so I'll be out.
Wow. Okay, let's. How long have you been in jail?
8 years or so.
You don't know when you're getting out.
Don't
You've
know
been
when
in there
you're-
8 years.
No. I ain't know where I'm at.
Well, somehow you got our number.
Well, somehow, you called from a San Bernardino. Do you know what state you're in?
Oh, no, I was thinking about that for the last couple of years. I was going to say like Arkansas or something. I wasn't sure.
You're in Arkansas?
It's hot. It's hot.
It's hot.
I just guess. Going off my gut feeling, there, boy.
I think, okay, you're in California. If you're in San Bernardino, you're in California, not Arkansas.
What the hell? California?
Do you know anything about sports?
Yes, sir. Come on now.
What's your favorite sport there in Arkansas?
Well, crazy enough, my papa used to watch some hockey with me. And we watched all the old time stuff. Not this new age that is still rubbed on kind of hockey players, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Did you say Vagisil? What did you say?
Yeah. Everyone acts like they're fucking pussies. fucking take a hockey stick right to the goddamn teeth.
Okay. Well, funny enough, we're actually talking about NHL right now. Talking about who we think the greatest hockey player is of all time. So if you could give me one, Vagisil not included, who your favorite hockey player is, I'd like to hear your input.
Is this gonna be on the TV?
Not the TV. Maybe a form of TV.
Do you get a TV there in prison? Can you watch like TV
I can buy one.
in prison?
Yes, sir. I sure can.
Do you have a job?
Get a flat screen.
Do you have a flat screen? Do you have a job in prison?
Yes, sir. But I don't think I should say it.
Okay. All right. Well, give us who you think your favorite hockey player is and why.
Favorite hockey player, huh? I would have to say, who was that one guy? Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's who it is. He played for the goddamn, he played for the Kings right here, actually. LA? Yeah. Marty McSorley.
Marty McSorley is your favorite hockey player.
Yeah, best of all time. Marty McSorley.
Marty.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, McSorley. He was a big fighter, man. He's a big boy.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ate that cornbread, too, I'm sure. Look at the boy. God damn.
So
I love watching him go.
why Marty McSorley?
You want to let people get away with shit?
So Marty McSorley is your favorite hockey player. You have no idea what state you're in, and you have no idea when you're being released or how long you've been in prison. Is that to kind of sum it up?
Well, now I know where I'm at, kind of. Now I'm going to go try and find Marty once I get out of here. We're in the same state. You got to be around here somewhere, Bubba.
Yeah, Marty McSorley's got to be around there somewhere. Somewhere.
He's probably on the beach.
Probably.
I'll be down there soon enough, don't you worry.
Okay.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you get out of San Bernardino?
What's the first thing I'm going to do, huh? Probably go back home. Make sure my trailer's still sitting there in the middle of that. Kind of have it hidden in the woods. Had a couple drug deals go wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of had to hide it.
Are you supposed to be saying that
But it's
on the phone?
You ain't gonna see it.
You can't say that on the phone.
Yeah.
Because
What are they gonna do?
What?
What are they gonna do? I'm already here. What are they gonna do?
I mean,
But you don't know why you're in prison, so maybe that could be why.
There's too many things to think of that they could have me here for again.
Where?
Go.
Where's home?
No, I'm saying. Where's home?
Yeah, where's home?
Well, I was born in Louisiana, but I think my mom and daddy, they didn't get along too well, so we moved down to Arkansas, actually, for a couple of years. We kind of went all over the place, but now I reside in Alabama.
Is that where your hidden trailer's at?
I shouldn't say yes or no to that. But I dare you to try and come find us. Be the last thing you do. Remember that. I know.
Okay.
one last question here before we let you go. How was your Thanksgiving? Did you do any Black Friday shopping?
From prison?
Yeah.
How was my Thanksgiving?
How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving?
What's that?
What's Thanksgiving? What's Thanksgiving?
You got to know what that is. I mean, come on.
I ate
Turkey,
a cheese sandwich.
potatoes, stuffing, macaroni.
Nah, I like duck, frog, gator, bird, cat.
You say cat?
I mean, cat?
Cat.
Did you say cat?
Sometimes.
C-A-T?
You never had a cat before?
I can't say that I have.
I don't. I've never had a cat before.
well, come down to my place sometime. I'll make y'all cash.
Yeah, I think I'll pass.
Yeah. No,
All right, man.
thanks.
We gotta move on. This is just killing me.
Hey, well, before y'all go, if you talk to Chanel, can you tell her hi for me? Tell her I love her.
Yeah.
I'll be home soon.
Yeah, you'll be home soon. Okay, yeah. What's her name?
Chantel.
Chantel. Okay.
Yeah, she's my sweet little Teddy Graham. Chocolate Teddy Graham. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Okay, we're look up Chantel for you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're more
Great
than
talking with y'all.
great talking to you too. Thanks for dialing the wrong number.
See you later.
Call y'all later.
Okay. Dear God, I hope not.
What the hell was
What
that?
the hell was that? That was awesome. I mean, that was crazy. I don't even know where to go from here.
Well, we can move on to the NFL.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Let's do that. That was nuts.
That was nuts.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Okay, just
transitioning back into the planned show.
That was crazy, man.
We got our last topic of the day, NFL. This one is my favorite sport. I mean, let's be honest.
But let's not talk about it for 20 minutes.
No.
I'm dying here.
Yeah.
My glasses are fogged up. I'm laughing so hard. I can't even see anything I'm supposed to read. That was nuts, man. Okay, NFL. Yeah, go ahead.
Greatest player of all time.
Yeah, I know what's coming. Yeah.
Tom Brady.
There it is.
Tom Brady.
Yep.
Undisputed.
By some.
By most.
Many.
Second all time in passing yards. Second all time in touchdowns. Most wins ever by a quarterback at 217. He has 6 Super Bowl rings. And he's 30-10 in the playoffs, which is the most wins of all time. The guy's a winner. 6th-round draft pick out of Michigan. Pick 199.
Do you think, though, and we've, with the other ones, we also talked about this. Do you think, though, Tom Brady would be able to do what he does today in yesterday's game?
In terms of, are we talking about 80s, 70s?
Let's just talk about 70s and 80s when the NFL was like a meat grinder sport.
I think it depends, honestly, because a lot of guys talk about how Brady is soft, which I tend to disagree because he doesn't get hurt ever, really, besides his ACL tear.
I don't know. He's looking kind of gimpy now.
He's just getting old, man. He's 42.
Yeah, see, I don't think he's going to last much longer.
I think this year has been a struggle. I think the offensive line hasn't been up to par. Plus, he's working with the new offense now. Gronkowski is gone. Edelman's really their most reliable receiver. Josh Gordon's gone. Antonio Brown is somewhere.
Amendola's gone.
Amendola's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Darius Thomas got traded.
Darius Thomas. So
he's
yeah,
working with a new
complete
group of
new
faces.
look.
Sure,
a new look.
But in terms of if I think he would succeed, I think he would. I think he wouldn't be as dominant, but I think he would succeed because at the end of the day, if you're a winner in my opinion. And I think he would be able to adapt to the style of play where quarterbacks weren't, really throwing more than, 30 touchdowns a year. So I think he would adapt. I think it'd be tough because guys would kind of get free shots where, guys were hitting the head all the time.
No, yeah. The protect the quarterback rule wasn't around back then. Quarterbacks back then were tough.
Oh, yeah.
They were tough, man.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt about it, but it would have been interesting.
Who I think is really overrated is Troy Aikman.
Jesus, really?
I don't think. Look at his numbers.
Yeah, I know.
He had a great team in Dallas when he won the Super Bowl. He had one of the greatest receivers of all time, Michael Irvin. One of the greatest running backs of all time, Emmitt Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He played well in Super Bowls. But outside of that, Troy Aikman, I don't see it.
Yeah, UCLA boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't think.
Do you like him as an announcer?
I like
guy?
him more than Joe Buck.
I don't like Joe Buck. I don't like Troy Aikman. Tony Romo's my guy.
Tony Romo's good. I like him and Jim Nantz a lot.
Jim Nantz, I've always liked Jim Nantz.
Jim Nantz.
I like when Jim Nantz does his golfing voice.
Yeah, he's very quiet.
Very quiet.
Welcome to NBC Golf.
Kind of like that, yeah. Yeah.
But no,
I'm not a big fan of it. But at the same time, different era.
Yeah.
Different era back then. But he had such a lineup around him. It was pathetically sick. I mean, sick good.
Yeah.
Amazing good.
Well, I think the reason, too, I think Brady is considered one of the best, if not the best, is because back when, Montana, for example, was winning all those Super Bowls, the salary cap didn't exist.
I don't think money has anything to do with it.
But you have the ability to keep your players because there isn't a salary cap you have to kind of pertain your roster to.
But it goes right back to the evolution of the game.
Right.
The game was different. I think Montana, talent-wise, as good as Brady.
Yeah, I think Brady has a better arm. Montana's more athletic.
Well, they didn't. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But you want to go? Steve Young. Big old lefty quarterback,
right?
And I can't stand him as an announcer. But I think Steve Young was an amazing quarterback too. I think Fran Tarkington, back in the day, tiny for a quarterback,
big guy,
tiny. But he was an amazing innovator.
Yeah,
he was like I think I don't know. He's like one of the first scrambly quarterbacks could make something out of nothing. That I remember because I actually watched Tarkenton play.
Yeah.
But I never won a Super Bowl.
That's too bad.
I just love watching the guy play. So I think error has a lot to do with it. I think, in my opinion, there's a couple of them. I think Jim Brown.
Greatest running back of all time, I think.
Dominant 60s running back. And he left the game early. He didn't play... he played 10 years.
Yeah.
And then became an actor.
Yeah.
Which is, stupid. But apparently he's pretty good. Dirty Dozen. He was in...
I've never seen a movie with Jim Brown in it.
You got to watch the Dirty Dozen. It's actually a pretty good movie. But Jim Brown, man, you talk about talent and all-around ability. Mm-hmm. Over 12,000 yards. Average 1.2 yards per carry back in the day. When they were headhunting.
Right.
5.2 yards was an amazing stat. Held the NFL's career rushing record for 19 years.
That's amazing.
And remains the only NFL player in history, more than 3 seasons, to average more than 100 rushing yards per game in a career.
Yeah.
In a career. Freaking amazing. 3 times named NFL MVP. Never missed a game, and they actually won the Super Bowl in 1964.
That's a resume. A resume that
huge resume. So I kind of like. I'm gonna go with Jim Brown.
You like Jim Brown?
I'm going with Jim Brown.
And a lot of guys can have. I think quarterback automatically comes to people's mind when greatest of all time.
And you notice linemen are hardly ever mentioned as.
Never. Seldom.
Mean Joe Green, man.
Yeah.
In my mind, was an amazing look at an innovator, Billy White Shoes Johnson, an innovator of the game. He created the touchdown dance.
Yeah,
and I think he started doing it with the funky chicken or something like that. some weird thing. He'd put the ball above his head and he'd do the knee thing, slap the knees together. Billy White Shoes Johnson. The innovator, and he's the one that actually started the celebration craze, and it was always after a touchdown. But now players do it all the time.
Oh, all the time.
It's irritating. You don't celebrate doing your frickin' job.
Some of them are innovative, though.
They can be innovative and stupid.
They sure
at the same time.
Terrell Owens.
Oh God.
The popcorn.
Yeah. And then what is it? Zeke that does the feed me.
Yeah, the feed me.
Yeah, you're doing your job, man. Every time a carpenter lays out a nice piece of furniture, you don't see them doing some frickin' dance in the frickin' hallway.
Can you imagine?
Every time you do your job, you're going to celebrate with some
You walk
dumbass
in,
dance.
some house builders doing the dance.
Doing the dance. I just put up a wall. Yabba, yabba, yabba. Oh, my God. You're doing your freaking job. Just frame the damn thing without celebrating.
That would be hilarious.
But yeah, I think. But then you got, God, man, we can go back to Gale Sayers.
Oh, yeah.
Walter Payton, Sweetness. I mean, you can go all over the place. Brian Piccolo wasn't a great football player, but when you talk about innovating, Brian Piccolo and Gale Sayers back, I think, rookie year. I think when Sayers came in, they were the first black-white roommate in the NFL.
Really?
They were put together for a reason. George Halas put them together because they were both running backs. They moved Pick to fullback, and Piccolo died in 1970 from cancer. But if you look at just off the field,
Yeah.
the things that these guys do, too many people look at what like happens on the field.
Sure.
I think off the field is just important. So, I mean, you can go Barry Sanders,
Yeah.
Reggie White. I mean, how far back do you want to go?
I think Barry Sanders would be right up there, maybe even breaking Jim Brown's or Emmitt Smith's, rushing record if he retired just abruptly
Yeah.
in his prime.
Well, and the other thing, like we don't know, but Barry Sanders is just like an icon in Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he can't go anywhere without, people remembering, even people that never saw him play.
Right.
It was amazing. I was going to mention with Billy White Shoes Johnson, the
Touchdown.
the celebration guy.
Yeah.
He actually was I think he was the first player to wear white shoes in the NFL.
Really?
Yeah. Which
Why?
I think is why they ended up calling him Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Oh, that would make sense.
I think he was the first player to wear.
God, they would get so dirty.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Crazy.
One guy who I don't think gets enough credit for the era he played in is Dan Marino. Because when he played, quarterbacks, and Dan Marino today would throw probably 60 touchdowns a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because back when he played,
He was coached by Shula, right? Was he being coached by
I
Shula?
think he might have been. I'm not.
I think near the end of his
100%
career.
Sure,
Yeah.
but the era he played in, I mean, people weren't really stat, patters, for example. Where
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Marino held the touchdown record for a very long time, and then Brett Favre came and broke it, and then Manning came and broke it, and then Brady and Breeze are tied, and they could realistically break it this year. They need 8 touchdowns in 5 games to do it.
Well, again, different era.
Yeah.
Different era, different line. And the equipment was so much different too.
Yeah. Another guy, Randall Cunningham,
Randall Cunningham.
Warren Moon. I think those
Warren
guys.
Moon.
One of
Yeah.
them. I think
Jim Zorn.
Warren Moon has one of the best balls I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy could.
Yeah. Well, Warren Moon went to Minnesota, Seattle,
Yeah.
bounced around a bit, an amazing arm. And then you got a lot of guys that just sort of fade into the sunset.
Yeah.
I mean, you could look at Favre, but I don't think Favre is a Green Bay Packer. You got Bart Starr.
Yeah.
Way before Favre.
Oh, yeah.
Favre was an amazing quarterback, but you want to look at guys that put Green Bay on the map, you're looking at like Bart Starr.
Oh, yeah.
Guys like
Vince Lombardi.
And the celebration, remember the Lambeau Leap?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why Green Bay is called the Packers?
I do not.
Really?
No, I
No
actually
idea.
don't.
So do you know why they call it Lambeau Field?
From Three Stooges, Curly Lambeau.
Curly Lambeau. No, actually Curly Lambeau started the Green Bay Packers.
Oh.
And he went to his so he was a shipping clerk. This is about back in the late about 1920, and he asked his boss for some money to start a football team, and $500 to pay for uniforms, and it was actually the Indian Packing Company that put the money up.
Really?
hence the Packers, because of the Indian Packing Company.
Makes sense.
$500. And his approach, Curly Lambeau actually sort of created the forward pass.
Okay.
In the game, so he was one of the innovators of the forward pass. But that's why they call it the Lambeau leap. They leap into the crowd. But that's how the Packers got started. $500 loan from the Indian Packing Company.
Lombardi came in. He was a high school coach.
Lombardi was a stud.
Yeah,
absolute stud. And a guy named Red Grange was another innovator of the game. He was the first player to drop out of college and turn professional in 1925. Played for the Chicago Bears. That was the creation at that point of the NFL draft. That's prior to that point, you weren't drafted.
You just
hey, I want to play football.
Right. Like, hey, come on in.
Yeah. So Red Grange was the Galloping Ghost. Have you ever heard the nickname Galloping Ghost? Red Grange from Chicago, but because he turned pro before completing his college career.
Yeah.
That started the draft.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of those guys too. A lot of those guys not only served and then came back and played NFL, but a lot of them, kind of left the NFL, served, then went and played football. It was just a different era.
Completely different era, man. Yeah.
Rules are continuing to kind of shape the game and kind of looking back how people did things and kind of reshaping it. But, I think this is a tough discussion just because there's so many different eras.
I don't think you can limit it to just one person as the greatest, or I think you can have your favorites, but I don't think one person defines a game.
No,
it doesn't.
There's so many innovators, especially early on.
Well, there's so many, the innovators, the games that we know of today, whether it's baseball or football or hockey or whatever, there's so many different innovators of the game that we see today that you can't limit it to just one.
Right.
You can't. You can have your favorite, absolutely, but
sure.
Yeah, it takes a village, man. It takes
does.
a village to create, and it just generation after generation changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you really want to see what football was like, just jump on YouTube back to the 60s and the 70s, man. It was brutal.
Goalpost in the middle of the end zone.
Yeah.
People running into that. Oh, concussion out for the game.
Man. Yeah, and the equipment they wore was, less than perfect.
Leather helmet. So
yep.
Before we sign off, Terrell Pryor, Ohio State former player, he's in critical condition. He got stabbed at his apartment in Pittsburgh. From what I've heard, he's supposed to make a recovery, but as of now, he's in critical condition. So, let's hope he gets back up to health here soon and resumes. He's not in the NFL now. I think he transitioned to wideout, trying to make a comeback, but let's hope this doesn't derail his momentum and trying to get back in the league. So,
yes, fingers crossed.
So, alrighty, folks, that is going to be it for today's episode. I appreciate everyone again listening, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks,
including the phone call from somebody. I couldn't remember their name.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Interesting.
That was awesome.
All right, folks, take care.
See ya.